Welcome to The Note, I'm Mika.
I'm Ben.
Could Nintendo be back on top of the console heap? Well, it's no secret that the Switch has gotten off to a really hot start, and with the release of Super Mario Odyssey, it's got yet another well-received exclusive. And thanks to some new financial numbers, it looks like Nintendo could give some of the most popular consoles ever a run for their money when it comes to sales.
Meanwhile, because the Switch is selling so well, Nintendo has raised its projections again for how many it'll sell in its first year. The company is now projecting that the Switch will beat the Wii U's lifetime sales in just its first year. Oh, and it could come close to the PS4 and the Wii's first years too, which is pretty good company to keep for any console.
Seriously, it's the latest in a string of good news for Nintendo that could put the company back on top of the console race for the first time since the days of the original Wii. Even though the Switch isn't nearly as powerful as, say, the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One, its unique portable form factor has been popular with gamers, and its launch lineup might be the strongest we've ever seen from a console in its first year.
Okay, let's dig into the financial numbers first. Probably the biggest news is that Nintendo said it sold 7.6 million Switches as of the end of September. Plus, Nintendo announced that it now expects to sell 16.7 million Switches by March of next year, which would be the first full 12 months that it's been available. That's a full 4 million more Switches than it would previously expected to sell for the first year, and would put the Switch in just a year ahead of the Wii U's lifetime sales of less than 14 million.
It would also put the Switch within shouting distance of the current console leader, the PlayStation 4, which sold 18.5 million units after a year and, some change. Obviously, Sony has gone on to sell far more PlayStation 4s, but then again, so will Nintendo when it comes to the Switch. What makes that number so impressive is that the PS4 is on pace to become the highest selling console of all time, and it's doing it faster than the current record holder, which is the PlayStation 2.
Dang. Of course, Nintendo's all-time best-selling console is the Wii, which sold more than 20 million copies in a 13-month span. The Switch isn't projected to hit that total, but it's not that far off either.
As for games, Nintendo said it now expects to sell 55.5 million copies of Switch games for the year. That's up from an earlier estimate of only 40.5 million. Zelda Breath of the Wild is the current top seller with 4.7 million copies sold, followed by Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 4.4 million, then Splatoon 2 at 3.6 million, and while ARMS and 1-2 Switch have both sold more than 1.3 million units, somewhere around there. We also know that the Switch has a high attach rate, meaning how much stuff you buy to go along with the console. Nintendo projects a ratio of 3.3 games sold for every Switch, so that's decent.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But will there actually be enough Switches to buy? It's been no secret that shortages have held the console back somewhat, considering that they've been pretty hard to keep on the shelves.
Yeah.
Industry analyst Daniel Ahmad wrote on the Reset Era forum that it looks like while Nintendo still has some supply issues, it seems to have solved most of them, so celebrations all around. He wrote that Nintendo will be able to achieve a huge holiday shipment this year that could potentially exceed 6 million units. Effectively, it'd be selling like PS4 did in its first year.
Nintendo CEO Tatsumi Kimishima apologized for the shortages and said the company's initial sales forecast was too cautious. It does seem that Switch supplies are starting to pick back up, and Kimishima said that Nintendo will make sure that there are enough Switches to buy for the upcoming holiday season. There are reports that Nintendo is aiming to produce a total of 20 million Switches in 2017. Kimishima said, "Thanks to our component suppliers who even opened up new production lines for the Switch, our ability to ship the console has improved drastically."
Which is probably a good idea, because it definitely looks like they've already got another hit on their hands with Super Mario Odyssey. I've already beaten the game. That's all I did this weekend.
Wow.
The game is already getting some all-time great reviews with a 97 score on Metacritic and has served as a really effective 1-2 punch along with Breath of the Wild. Games are ultimately what sell consoles, and the Switch with Mario, Zelda, other exclusives like Mario Kart 8, Splatoon 2, and Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is having possibly the best launch console ever.
Yeah, I can't think of another launch lineup that sounds better than that. It's also worth noting that Nintendo has sold a ton of Switches while violating a ton of the rules of modern consoles. The Switch has underpowered hardware, it still doesn't have an official online service rolled out or a virtual console, and it still relies on antiquated social features like friend codes. Yikes. And you know what? The Switch said screw you, and it's selling like fucking hotcakes.
And these numbers don't even account for a bump in sales that the Switch could see thanks to Super Mario Odyssey, which, like we said, has been seeing all-time great reviews and strong sales right out of the gate. Mario Odyssey is currently the top-selling game on Amazon in at least the US.
Oh, and Nintendo is still working on a mainline Pokemon game for the Switch, not to mention Metroid Prime 4, and who knows what else. We are all hoping for Animal Crossing. Could you imagine?
One day.
And you can bet that despite the Switch's hardware limitations, third-party developers are looking more at porting into the platform too. Multi-platform games like Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are coming to the Switch, and if there are enough players there, the developers will come.
All of this, as you can imagine, has been good news for Nintendo. Its stock price is up about 75% this year, and it nearly doubled its forecast for net profit for the current fiscal year. So, yeah, it's safe to say Nintendo's back, baby.
In all, Ahmad said that it will be a solid year for Nintendo and the Switch, and he wrote, "They've created a great product that appeals to a broad audience. They've created a strong pipeline of games for the first 12 months, and they've worked with the third parties to bring classic titles to the console. I'm extremely optimistic on Switch and always have been since it was first unveiled. However, the hardest part will be to reach the core gamer on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and the large number of casual gamers who have stuck to mobile."
Yeah, as for that core gamer, could the Switch catch up and overtake this competition for the console gen? The Xbox One has lifetime sales that are estimated at around 30 million, and given the pace of the Switch, it's feasible that Nintendo could surpass those in the next few years.
But the PlayStation 4 is a different story. Ahmad said that by March 31st, 2018, the PS4 is forecasted to reach 78 million units sold, while the Switch is projected to hit 16.7 million. So that's still a huge gap, even though the PS4 is significantly older than the Switch, so keep that in mind.
So while the Switch might not catch the PS4, there's no doubt that it's already a big hit for Nintendo, who once again proved that you can never count them out. We'll see how this Switch does over the long run, but in the meantime, I'm gonna go back and finish Mario Odyssey. All 800...
No, my God, love yourself. So what do you think of the latest batch of Switch sales numbers? Let us know in the comments.
And for all of your Switch news, be sure to like this video, and if you're new around here, subscribe to the Know.
Give us Animal Crossing.
For how well it's selling its first year. The company is now... Oh, how many it'll sell. Sorry about that. Financial numbers first. Probably the biggest news is that Nintendo said it sold 7.6 Switches as the...
Sorry, 7.6 million.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, 7.6 Switches. All right, cool.
Sure.
It's a scale.
Just vanilla.
Probably,